Hi guys, Jen Magana with Convicted Hearts. I hope you're all doing well tonight. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so because I've got some great stories and interviews coming up I'd like to share with all of you. Today I'm going to be talking about a tragic case that happened just last week, and this is the case of the 18-year-old Mexican boxer. Her name was Jeanette Zacarias Zapata, and she died actually in Canada, fighting, I believe it was only her 6th professional fight. And this happened very much by surprise, from what I understand. I did watch the video. I'll kind of give you my thoughts on it afterwards, but I'm going to go ahead and read some of this article so you guys can sort of get the background on what happened and during the fight what happened. Mexican boxer Jeanette Zacarias Zapata life was cut short after sustaining injuries during a fight against Marie-Pierre Huillet, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, at the GVN Gala International in Montreal, Canada last month. Excuse me, it was last month, not last week. The 18-year-old was taken to the hospital after being knocked out during the fight that was stopped at the end of the 4th round, reported by New York Post. The August 28th fight was her 6th as a professional boxer. The event's promoter, Group Yvonne Michel, shared an update on her Instagram and said that she passed away Thursday afternoon at 3:45. It was heartbreaking. Michelle posted the entire team at Group Yvonne Michel is extremely distressed by this painful announcement. In the middle of the fight, Zapata reportedly began convulsing, after which she was rushed to the hospital where she was placed on a medically induced coma. This is typically done when there's been a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury, just to reduce swelling and try to sustain the health of their brain. She is said to have died in the presence of her husband, Giovanni Martinez. The president of the World Boxing Council, WBC, Mauricio Saliman, and the boxing affiliated with the WBC mourned the demise of the teenager. Oh, that puts it in perspective when you hear it like that, of the teenager. The statement read, "We send our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Jeanette. May she rest in peace." Imagine being away from your family in another country when this happens as well. After the incident, Huillet said the boxing carries a lot of dangers and risks, and that this is never an intention to seriously hurt an opponent. This is reported by the BBC. Following the Mexican boxer's death, a UK-based Brain Injury Association said that the tragedy was preventable and wants the sport to be banned. I don't think that's probably going to happen, but I'm sure this will start some petitions to try and do so. I know that they tried to do this in football as well with all of the brain injuries. Okay, back to the article. Peter McCabe, chief executive of Headway, said in a statement, "It is impossible to imagine the grief being felt by the husband and family of such a young woman with her entire life ahead of her." The association, along with the organization's recently submitted evidence to the British Parliamentary inquiry regarding concussions in sports, and asked why boxing was not under greater scrutiny. Meanwhile, boxer Sunny Edwards is starting a fundraiser in memory of Zapata and has asked anyone who would like to donate to drop him a message. I can see here they have a couple of his tweets pinned. Sunny Edwards on September 5th, 2021, he wrote, "Update. Sorry to everyone I was replying to. I was awaiting a trusted line of contact for the fundraiser of Jeanette Zacarias Zapata. I believe we have one established now. Anyone who would like to donate, please drop a message. T-shirts are limited supply." Okay. So if you guys, I'll go ahead and put his name in the description box, Sunny Edwards, at Sunny Edwards on Twitter, if you guys would like to try and donate to help raise money for her family. He's claiming that 100% of the money raised will be forwarded to the family of the young queen who had lost her life so tragically, just trying to make something slightly better out of a very bad situation. That is definitely the truth. Money raised for, back to the article, money raised from it will be forwarded to the family, and sorry for the loss of her life. Let me see if that's the end of the article. I think that is the end of the article, you guys. I did watch clips of the fight, and I believe I saw the moment that maybe that fatal blow, that uppercut that they're speaking of in a lot of the articles, took place. And there is clearly something in her face changed, and it was evident that she was injured, even though she was standing upright at first. You'll see in the videos, if you choose to look at them. I don't really like posting things that could be triggering for some people, especially if it's the last moments of somebody's life. You know, they say she passed days later in the hospital, but I think at that exact moment, I have read in other articles, it's alleged that her brain was possibly sort of shaken away from the connective tissue in her skull. So that's pretty much, you know, being brain dead. Like I said, this is alleged, and I say that with great sympathy for her family. I can't imagine. I also can't imagine being in a foreign country. To her, she was in Canada when this fight took place. She had even had a fight, I think 3 months prior, in Mexico, which was her home country, but she was knocked out, and this was concerning to a lot of people involved in this boxing match. But she was cleared by the doctors that cover that sort of thing. So it's scary to think that, you know, she was knocked out. She probably most likely had a concussion. She was cleared, yet something so tragic came of this. Another thing that struck me is she was only 18, you know. Yes, she was married, but still, I mean, that's like a baby. Her parents were in a different country. They couldn't get here because they didn't have passports. So imagine not being able to get to your baby, your child. 18 or 38, it's still your baby, you know. I can't imagine how alone her husband must have felt, you know, being by her side and not having any other family support. And I'm sure that the family, you know, possibly depended on their daughter's career to help the family out, because isn't that what we all do? You know, if somebody makes it out and becomes a success, you know, we try to take care of the rest of our family. And I just hope that if there is a fundraiser, a GoFundMe, something that could help her family ease the financial burden anyways of the situation, that we can share that information with everyone, because they're really suffering right now. I cannot even place my mind there. You know, I just watched a program the other day on Netflix about Christy Martin, who, surprisingly enough, I had never heard of, and my family was actually shocked that I don't remember her or never heard of her. If I did, I don't remember. But her story was so crazy, and it's a program on Netflix, and it's far deeper than just boxing, but it really goes in depth on the things that she went through to get to the top, how she had to get there. Her husband also was her trainer, just like Jeanette's husband, but I think Christy's husband was, I know after watching the program, without spoiling it for you guys, he was not a nice guy, to say the least. But you'll have to watch that and decide for yourself, because like I said, I don't want to ruin the whole program. I just want to give Jeanette and her family our condolences and respect, and let them know that their daughter has not gone unnoticed, that her death is recognized, her life is recognized, and that we are here to appreciate her and celebrate her life with them. It's always a difficult thing when you lose a loved one. And the way you can make it a little easier on someone else is to, you know, when I say mourn with them, I don't mean, you know, fall out, just completely lose it. Mourn however you would mourn. You know, maybe watch some of her old fights. Maybe just follow up on her life and look up what she was like. She looked like she had a beautiful smile, like she was a sweet girl. She probably had tons of hopes and dreams that she believed she had in front of her. But this one day, this one incident, all of those things were lost. So appreciate your life. Appreciate the life you spend with your family, your loved ones, your friends on the daily. Because you never know when it will be your last day. I wish that Jeanette would have had a lot more time to live out her hopes and dreams. Unfortunately, she doesn't, and she is at peace regardless of how she went out. You know, she's with the Lord now. Another thing I wanted to mention is the other female fighter. I cannot imagine what she must be going through. Of course, it's her intention to win the fight, right? Like, even after, excuse me, even after that cut, oh, excuse me, after that punch, the uppercut that was unexpectedly harder than she would have hoped, or maybe the wrong angle, I don't know. After they called it, you could see the other fighter celebrating. You know, she was happy. She didn't realize how injured Jeanette was because she was still standing upright. I think her corner realized she was injured, and I saw one individual running up to her in the video. It may have been her husband. I think her husband was her trainer. And they immediately laid her down. And once she was laid down, in the other videos that I noticed, that's when it looked to me like she was probably convulsing. And she didn't look like she was there. She didn't look present. So there was another report I read that did say the other fighter is having an extremely hard time coping and dealing with this, that she's devastated. I cannot imagine having to move forward in a career like that after you have gone through something like this. So who knows if this tragedy even alters the other female's career path and choices. I think it very possibly could. So my prayers go out to her and her family as well. I pray protection over everyone involved in a sport that is, you know, so rough and violent. There's many of them that are, including football, even basketball. I was surprised how violent basketball can be. But today, I just want to show our love and respect for Jeanette. And you guys send her family some well wishes, and let's just remember her today. I might seem, or I am, rambling on. It's a little because I'm tired, but more because I'm a little upset reading this. I have kids this age, and I feel really bad for her family. With all of that said, you guys stay encouraged. Be encouraged for this next week. Share some love, compassion, and kindness. It goes a long ways. Sending all of my love to you guys. A ton of love. Jen with Convicted Hearts. Good night.